Keep it simple. You get to get busy later. Right now, you have to keep it simple. So I'm going to just pick a color that's just slightly darker than what is there, and then I just saved a little bit. Now at home, I don't mask out. I just figured that you wouldn't want to watch me go around all those wine bottles. It's a lot easier to go right across them. So just so you know, I don't use masking very often. And then so I'm just picking a little bit darker color than what is there. Have that problem where you don't know why it happens, you know. So on the other side of this. The reason I put that, whatever you call this little line here, is I wanted my wine bottles to be connected. So that's a way to connect them.
Karen, did you put a masking fluid on top of that color then when you put wine bottles?
Yes, I did. I did the whole thing with the color just like I showed you, and then I just put the wine. These wine bottles are going to be the same color as that first coat. They aren't pure white. Yeah, I think when I gave that last demo, I keep thinking about your comment.
I think it was.
When I did that demo last time, I was really into doing ghost imagery.
Yes.
And I still love ghost imagery.
That's what it was.
I really do. But you can have to do is in this part later on, I can have fun with that. I'm moving around too much, aren't I?
No, it's all right.
Oh, get more water. Did you guys catch me?
Yep. We can see it better now, your run. That's what you're doing, right?
Still
You're bringing that run down?
Still not wet enough. There.
No.
See, if we had a big fat brush like Pat uses, she uses the round one. Those hold more water. Did you guys know that? Round brushes hold more water than the flat. I don't know, 7 or 8 people that came because everybody was like, "Are you crazy? You're going north in the winter?" But after people heard what a neat place it was, you know, it feels within a month, and they just put the notice out. It's through the Edina Art Center. Okay, so if I talk about my collage just barely, and then we take a break in 5 minutes, is that about right?
Sounds good.
So the collage, I'm just going to talk to you about it. So this is one of my favorite things to do, is to collect napkins. And this one says, "I'll have a cafe, mocha, vodka, Valium, latte to go, please." But the reason I picked it is because of the leopard on the outside. You see that? So I could care less what this says, and I'll probably never use them for what they're supposed to be used for. These are going in my paintings. And then this is another one that I picked out. I keep thinking I'm going to have to turn it around, but you can see to do part of a painting with this. And that's just these neat little designs here. And then the Vin Blanc, you know, I can use that for, all words are wonderful in that too. So, and sometimes if I have trouble with colors, what I'll do is I'll actually put a napkin or something like this out, and then I'll just keep looking at it while I do. Let's see. Here's my favorite things to do for collage. I love these little scrapbooks that you get at Archivers or some of those, and they've got some really neat repetitive designs. And these are what I start with because it's a heavier paper, and I want to be able to see through the paper most of it. But you can see how this might give me an idea to do a design that will go with that for later on. So that's how I get some of my ideas. So no, I don't cut it out, I don't put it on. nothing like that. I do it for cards or whatever, that's fine. But no, if I'm gonna use something like this, I use it for the repetitive part, or if I'm gonna use, I'll show you some others that I use just part of a bottle, and then I paint the rest of it. So I do that. But yeah, and then I've got some chicken napkins. I would never use the chicken, you know. I'll show you how to do that. Another thing that I use in collage, believe it or not, is my palette. I have the tearaway palettes when I do oil or acrylic paintings. And so if you want a really, really bright red, well, I'll just do it like this. So you want to dilute this. So you put it in a little container, and you put the glue down on the paper. This is matte medium is a glue, and then you put your napkin, and you can divide it up, you know, and not have that bottom part, or blue mixed with white. That's my new discovery. Just love that color. And so I'll mix this, and this is, again, this is a palette that you throw away usually, but I don't throw away very much, ever. So I save them and I put them in my collage, and it's just amazing how much, how you can use them later on. So I'm even using screws and bolts and stuff like that now in my paintings. So now what you do is you got your color mixed up. You take another piece of the deli paper, take the cloudy side, and I'm going to put this all over this. And at first, it'll repel a little bit. Can you see that?
Yep.
Somebody's phone. You know, when I was given a demo for the Minnesota watercolor a couple months ago, and I was up there and I said, oh, somebody's phone. I said, that's the same ring as mine. And then I said, oh, they're embarrassed to answer it. I'm just really giving whoever is a bad time. And then all of a sudden I'm looking behind and I thought, shoot, that's my phone. And I never have my phone on. Actually, I do have it on tonight. But that isn't my ring. That wasn't mine. Okay, so you take this, and you got it, and you take the dry one, and you put it on top, and then you just lightly tap every now and then. And what that does, isn't that the coolest? How easy is that? Huh? I mean, I could frame that up.
Well, it's a sailboat. It's a big ship.
So then you can take another one. Again, I want to have the cloudy. Last thing that you do with this is, we'll take the black. And my preference is carbon black. There's a lot of blacks, but that's my favorite of the acrylic blacks. And what I do now is I spread this out, and this is a little trick that I invented myself. Oh.
Are you using any kind of medium with that?
This one is a work in progress. It's not quite done yet, but it's got all the gold, and then I just went like this, and you know, so you can have a lot of fun.
Is that acrylic gold?
It's acrylic gold.
Too.
Yep. And I had one, this is a good one. This doesn't look very pretty until you just go like this. Look at this.
Medium, can you actually paint over it?
Okay, what happens when you paint on top of matte medium is the first coat will repel. When it's very wet, when you're working with lighter colors, the first will repel. And then after,
So a 2 would be really an 8 or a 9.
So your darkest value would be anywhere from 8, 9, yeah,
That's your
7, 8, 9.
That is your 3.
That would be, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, I've got, I'm gonna show you something at the very end on how I check up on my paintings. And that is one thing that I do struggle with, is having a wide range of values. Okay, so I have drawn in a minimum of things that relate to the collage pieces that I have on this paper. And so on this particular one, I have zebra print. I have the tops of wine bottles. That was my own little joke, because this is, nobody knows that that's in there, but they're in there. I always like to have something that nobody knows that's there. I put macaroni and things, you know. But anyway, so now I've drawn. I took the mask off of the wine bottles. I've got my collage on. So now I'm ready for just the next step, which is adding a little bit of dimension to this. So I'll start upside down with the wine bottles. I want to show you how. Can you see this white pencil here? It's a charcoal white pencil. I love drawing with that once I get into the colored. It doesn't show on the white paper. I start with just a regular pencil, but then I switch to this charcoal pencil, and it lifts off with just water. So it's just wonderful for not having your pencil marks.
Where did you get that?
You can get it at Dick Blick, but it's called charcoal. It's in the charcoal division. Don't get it confused with some of the other watercolor pencils, because they have a little bit of wax in them. This completely disintegrates.
It completely
It's
it doesn't have any calcium carbonate like pastels in it? Like a white pastel?
wonderful. It does have, yes,
Oh,
it does. But it just goes away. Yeah, it's wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit darker in this. I've got an orange, so I know I can put a red on top of that. So I'm always working within, with the edge of the paper towards my lap. And I'll go around. I got some wine glasses here. And I have saved just a little line to connect the wine glasses across. Do that. And here's where I have that zebra print, and I drew that feeling of that curve that's going behind the wine bottles. So I only draw one or two things in each corner of my paintings.
Are you gonna take off?
And so with every layer, I get happier and happier, because the value gets darker and the center of interest starts to pop. So somebody was asking about Carlin. She and I both had Lyme tick disease at the same time this summer. I don't know that I had it. I just know I got bit by a tick that left that, characteristic circle. And I was teaching in Park Rapids at the time, and Carlin and I just got done teaching at Madeline Island, which mark that on your calendar, look at their website. It was fabulous. We had a ball. And we were teaching at the same week. So we had workshop spots that were, just separated by a hall. And so I love that. So that was my inspiration. These already have circles in it, so that's what gave me the idea to do more circles. And by the time I'm 3/4 of the way through the painting, I will call this painting Round and Round She Goes, or whatever. I mean, I'll have a name for it. One of my favorite acrylic teachers is Carol Barnes. And she told me that halfway or 3/4 of the way through your painting, you should have a title for that painting. And you know why that is? Because you're gonna put your soul into that painting. You know, you always hear the judges talking about, you know, well, they really got into, you know, you could feel that they were really, well, that's why, because you know what you're going after. This one, I've got the bottles, this is part of the bottle that I cut out, and then I've got the bottle on its side. And so, let's put a little bit more red on this side. But anyway, we did have a fabulous time at Madeline Island, and they're just starting up. You know, it's not, it just, in fact, the first year, they had the problem that they didn't have enough places for people to stay. It seemed like, okay, so I'm building up the values, and so do you notice I'm not painting in the white at all? Okay, there's a reason for that. I want to wait until I know what color this is going to be, so I can pick the opposite color. But I don't know, I could maybe get to a brown, I could get to a purple, red, violet, you know, there's many options. I get to a pure red, then I would do a green, so that's what I'm going to be picking. So, in here, and so I thought that was kind of cool. Here's my, the checkered one, and here's how I, you know, brought that out into this part here. So now I'm to the part where I take my first design sketch and I draw with a magic marker, and I put, and so then I get this, you know, I just put this halfway in. So now I know where I'm going from this. But I get a copy of this first, so that I don't ruin that initial two-value sketch, okay? Because, again, I can use this over and over and over, so why do I want to ruin that, you know? So, so that's what I do. This is a copy of that, and then I just drew this so that I've got a roadmap now for where I'm going. So I did do a little bit of this right here. My unifying color is going to be a purple, because I know purple will go over red really well. And that was my palette that I told you I used part of the palette for my collage. So that gave me the idea to have the purple. So now I'm going to mix my Antwerp with little Gustav Klimt stuff. I love doing that, just going around just little bits.
Do you generally work on a lot of paintings at one time?
No,
Or does it confuse the